One thing I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight is something that I experienced this week. Coming up on 4 years in long-term recovery, at the end of this month, and I've always felt really stable, really supported, and really in a good place. And I am in a good place. But one of the things that kind of felt and embraced a little this week is cravings, right? And in early recovery, in early school, first couple semesters, it's a topic that comes up a lot. And I was very adamant at that time. And I was like, no, I was so focused on not picking up that bottle, right? So focused on not using, and so focused on embracing change that I think I was not, if I was experiencing any cravings, I didn't recognize it and notice it. And I was just so adamant about not drinking. I was in vulnerable situations. I haven't really told my story that's coming up in October, but I moved here right out of a treatment center, in an intimate relationship with the girl who I was with prior to recovery. We moved here together, and we lived in the same house, right? And there was alcohol in the house, 24/7, right? At any time, I could go and open the refrigerator and get a beer. But I was just so my mind, I was so focused on never doing that it wasn't an option. And in the last 4 years, I didn't know what a physical kind of craving felt like. But in the last 4 years, it's something that I've been able to kind of recognize more. And I experienced it this week. I was at work one day, Wednesday night, and I was thinking to myself, I have no idea why this thought came into my mind, but I started thinking I wonder what it would feel like to be drunk again. Why? Right? You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what it feels like. And I started thinking, because a lot of my problems in the past were focused around my job. I was I had the hardest work ethic and strong discipline around my job. And it was the mindset, you work hard and you play harder. So I would go to work and bust my ass for 8, 10, 12 hours a day and hit the bar. Party just as hard, right? And so Lauren Garvey, when she was on the show a couple weeks ago, and she said that people always talk about being around people who influence you. And I don't know if you remember, but she said that she was the ringleader. She didn't feel like she was around the people that she shouldn't be, that she was leading them and the life of the party kind of thing. And I totally related to that. And I was at work this week and I started thinking there's just a thought crossing my mind. Well, in my past job, it created a culture of partying, right? We would go to work, go out as a team, right? It built camaraderie. You know what I mean? And it brought us closer to each other. We'd go out and we'd go to the bar as soon as we got off work. And things aren't as awesome. I don't have as cool of a relationship with my coworkers as I did back then. I have boundaries, right? So we don't do those things. And I got to thinking, because it's somewhat difficult working with these folks that I work with now, what would it be if we just went down to innovative, and had some beers? What would it feel like to be drunk right now? Could I even handle it? The whole Alcoholics Anonymous deal, where it's is that something that I can do? Picking up that first beer. Could I have 1 or 2 beers? I immediately recognized these pattern of thought and didn't respond or react to it, and really didn't try to push it away or get rid of it. I just kind of recognized it and like hung out like, okay, I know that that's not a logical thought process, and like you need to like allow that to temptation to pass. And it wasn't like somebody asked me like, hey bro, you want to go grab a beer after work? It wasn't anything. It just randomly popped in my head. Like, what would it be like to go have a couple beers afterwards? And it's not something that I would like take action on. But I felt it, dude. I totally felt it. And I don't know, it was something that's been on my mind this week is like, how do we deal with cravings, right? Have you experienced that similar thought patterns? And what did you do to continue?
We was having lunch yesterday, and I catch myself thinking the same thing, sometimes. And, like you said, you got to recognize it. For me, whenever I start thinking about those cravings, I think about everything that I stand for, and my family. So many people have died because of cirrhosis or drug-related deaths or alcohol-related deaths. My granny got shot because shot and murdered because the guy was drunk. Her husband at the time was drunk. And it's just the list goes on and on and on. Scores and scores of people. And so I recognize that. It's just like a plethora of things that hold me accountable whenever I have those cravings. And I think back to where I came from. But I have them too, man. I have them a lot, not a lot, but I have them, I would say a couple times a month at least, and so it's just like, I think about that, and a good leader, making sure that I would be such that the proverbial dog returns to its vomit, and what would I really stand for? So I'm to that point to where as soon as I think that, it gets squashed really quick because of how far I've come and everything.
Yeah. It's like so easy to kind of like go down that rabbit hole, right? And then you start like justifying those thoughts. Like, well, maybe I could. Like, what would that be like? It was more like curiosity, I would say, than like interest, I guess. It was more like what would it feel like?
Absolutely. I find myself, we just had this conversation just the other day about people working, like if someone was to work at a brewery, and if it was a good idea or if it wasn't a good idea. And for me, coming from my own experience, I feel like it wouldn't be, because the thought does cross my mind at times, like going out to dinner or, because it's not like we just go to certain, we'll go to somewhere and we'll eat and, there's a bar right over here, but we're able to, eat dinner and be okay with that. But, at the same time, if I was to work, put myself in around it all the time, I don't know, but I've caught myself a few times being like, I wonder, if it would just be, what it would feel like just to go and drink and have a couple drinks and then.
I'm going to share some raw.
Alright.
Okay. I obviously I'm a Christian. I try to be very vocal about my faith, in a loving way and everything. But those addicted, that addicted person, that addicted behaviors of. Let's talk about porn for a minute. I have to. Yeah, okay. There we go. Thank you, Corey. It's just like, because people struggle with that. That's an addiction, right? It can just ruin your mind, relationships, and so much. And so, whenever I start having those thoughts of like, because Caitlin and I would try to abstain from having sex because that's what we're supposed to do. In God's eyes, that's what He wants.
Yeah.
So at the same time, sometimes I struggle, and I never told her this, so You know, I get those thoughts of like cravings, you know what I mean? Like, well, maybe I can just watch a video. You know, this is embarrassing, but I want to, because there's somebody out there, I feel like there's somebody out there who needs to hear this, you know? And so I'm just like,
you got access right there.
right, right.
Yeah, you don't got to jump through no hoops. You don't have to walk into a bar. You don't have to. It's there.
So it's like this song that we listen to, you know, you can tell how somebody, what's it's a Brian Trader song. You can look at somebody's phone history and tell where they're at, you know, especially as a Christian. You know, and so I started thinking about that. I'm like, what if somebody was to pick up my phone? You know what I mean? Like, I don't really want that, you know, want that on my conscience. So I'm going to try to just hold myself accountable in those ways. I mean, with any kind of craving.
Yeah.
You know, it's just trying to be a good leader. And I know that God's going to, you know, expose that if I do that in somehow, some way.
I think that these like thought patterns and behaviors they're completely natural, right? Like there's nothing wrong with you because you have thought that before, right? Like we have less control over what happens up there than you think that you do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not at the wheel 24/7, bro. Like you have way less control than you think you do.
Well, it's just like if I'm glad that Richie talks about having a billboard, the sign that, you know, lets everybody know what you're thinking all the time, because you know I've been selling jail. Sometimes, and I mean, for anybody sitting here, be like, look at me, like, you know, they're not thinking the same things, and or anybody out there that's listening is like, well, I'm telling you, we be thinking some crazy stuff sometimes.
But it goes back to like my path of practice and like we're truly like committing myself to the program, truly doing the things that are outlined in the program. It's there for a reason, right? And so like a huge part of it outside of meditation is an ethical lifestyle, right? 24/7, like every time that I take action, no matter what it is, I have to be cautious of like, am I doing this out of greed, right? Am I doing this to better myself with the potential of like causing harm to other people? I have to be aware of that and how my actions influence other people. 24/7. It's not, and when you have that like constant awareness, whether it's like strong or not, and it's kind of a couple of things that you hit on, where it's kind of like leading me down some other topics that were just on my mind today, because I'm somewhat like confused on life.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm questioning stuff,
right.
I'm really questioning things, but like having that honest, like ethical lifestyle where I know when I laid my head down at night, I did everything I could to like not just be a better person, but also like help other people and lead by example, like you're talking about. And I'll tell you right now, I handed my phone today to Lori Clancy and another classmate, 2 of them. I said, here's my passcode. Take some pictures. I'm gonna go up the river for like 2 hours and I'm gonna float down the river and y'all can take some pictures or do whatever y'all gotta do. Because I know that there's nothing in there that.
So you've been thinking about this too.
Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you, that's a great. I'm glad we're talking about this now. But Caitlin hasn't shared anything. I know Caitlin's had some. You know, we've all had crazy thoughts, and I hope she does share. So I'm kind of put her on the spot. But anyways, just her knowing why, you know, and being able to hand her my phone. You know what I mean? Like that feels so good to be able to do that. And know that nothing's, you know.
So I was like, here's my phone. The passcode is blank, 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 and take as many pictures as y'all want. And I was literally up the thing for an hour and a half, you know, floating down the river. They were taking pictures, doing their thing. I know that there's nothing like, I have nothing to hide, right? Who I am out here in this world is who is on this device.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no, even like in like the context of like messaging, text messaging, in the day and age of like shady behavior, shady business going on in these things, right? In that day and age, like before you click that send button, I'm looking at in reviewing what is on there
Right.
to make sure that the person on the other end of that thing is not taking it the wrong way.